Hello children, I hope you are all doing very well. Last class we saw about AIDS and today we'll see about cancer. Okay, I know you will all be very familiar with cancer. Cancer is one of the dreaded, that is fearful disease of human beings. Very fearful and is a major cause of death. More than 1 million Indians suffer from cancer and a large number of them die. Each and every year, a large number of them die. So, about this cancer, today we are going to see. Apart from that, how a cell get transformed into cancerous cell, that is oncogenic transformation of a normal cell. Oncogenic means it becomes cancerous. Oncology means study of cancer. So anything oncogenic means it's becoming cancerous. So oncogenic transformation of a normal cell, how it gets converted and how to control and treatment, everything researches have been taking place in the field of medicine. So we'll let us we'll just know how normally in our body how a normal cell becomes cancerous. Okay, that's what we are going to see today. That is oncogenic transformation, oncology, study of cancer. In our body, cell growth and differentiation is highly controlled and regulated. That is, you know very well, they cell grow and they differentiate. It's highly controlled and regulated. Everything is under control. In cancer cells, there is a breakdown of these regulatory mechanisms. So what happens? There is no control, uncontrolled division of the cells. So in cancer, there is a breakdown of this regulatory mechanism. They don't follow any mechanism. Normal cells show a property called contact inhibition. Contact inhibition means, see, when the normal cell they keeps on dividing, when they comes into contact with a particular tissue, the next tissue they stop. That is what contact inhibition. They will not spread to the other tissues. They just remain confined to the region. But in the case of cancerous cell, they have lost this property. That means what? They continue to divide. So this contact inhibition property is lost in the case of cancer cells. As a result, they just continues to divide, giving rise to a mass of cells which are known as tumors. That is what tumors we say. And today we are going to see about two types of tumors. Two types of tumors, that is benign and malignant. These are the two types of tumors, benign and malignant. I am going to tell you the differences between these two tumors. That is benign. It remains confined to the original location. So restricted place, it will not. They do not spread to the other parts of the body. It remains there in their original place. It causes little damage, and that particular tumor can be removed by surgery because it do not spread to other parts. It causes only little damage. This is benign. Then we'll see about the malignant tumor. They does not remain to the original location, and they keep rapidly spread to the other parts of the body, keeps on spreading and cause excessive damage. That is, this malignant tumors, they are mass of proliferating cells. Proliferating cells means a rapid increase in the number of cells. That is what known as proliferating, rapid increase in the number of cells. They are known as neoplastic or tumor cells. Okay, and this actually damage, it spreads and damage other normal cells also. Sometimes they rapidly spread very fast and they actively divide and they grow, and they also starve the normal cells by competing the essential for nutrients from them. Okay, so that is a very dangerous thing. And one more thing we are going to see today, that is known as metastasis. What is metastasis? I will tell you. See, this is a picture. It's known as metastasis. What happens is cells sloughed. That means the tumor cells, a layer of the tumor cells or a outer covering of the tumor cell, that will be shed. Okay, from the tumor cells, they will reach distant, you can see a mass of tumor cells. Okay, metastasis, a property known as metastasis, is a very fearful property which takes place in a cancerous cell, and these they get the outer covering or the outer layer get sloughed. It comes through the blood vessels. They will be going wherever they reach. Any site they reach, they get lodged and they will be forming a new tumor. Then and there it forms. They travel through the blood vessels. So a secondary malignant tumor will be formed. A secondary tumor, wherever they get lost, they form a secondary tumor. This property is a most fearful property. It's known as metastasis. Okay, so this is a very dangerous thing which takes place in cancerous cells. Okay, so that we have to understand. That is known as a secondary malignant growth. Okay, now we are going to see about the causes of cancer. Causes of cancer. That is how a transformation of normal cell into cancerous cells, how it happens. What are the causes? It may be induced by physical, chemical or biological agents. These agents are known as carcinogens. The agents that induces cancer, okay, they are known as carcinogens. Among physical agents, we'll see they are ionizing radiations like X-rays. These are the physical agents, X-rays, gamma rays, and non-ionizing radiations like UV rays. These are the UV rays you can see from the solar radiation. They all cause damage, DNA damage, leading to cancerous growth. Okay, then chemical agents. Chemical agents, you know very well, tobacco. Chemical agents or tobacco, and this tobacco, you know very well, tobacco, chewing or smoking, everything leads to lung cancer. Okay, it will lead to lung cancer. Apart from these biological agents, some viruses, okay, they are known as oncogenic viruses. I already said onco means something connected with cancer is oncogenic viruses. Some viruses, you can see a picture of this oncogenic viruses, they can cause cancer in human beings. They will be having genes called viral oncogenes, and they cause cancer in human beings. They are known as oncogenic viruses. These are the biological agents. And apart from that, several genes called cellular oncogenes. These genes will be present, identified. It can be identified in normal cell, which when activated under certain condition, they could lead to oncogenic transformation of the cells. That means they become cancerous. These cells are cellular oncogenes that will be present in the normal cells, which when activated under certain conditions, they become cancerous. Okay, these are the causes of cancer. Next, we are going to see about cancer detection and diagnosis. You know very well, early detection is always, each and every, whatever diseases, early detection is very essential and easy to cure also. So, early detection of cancer is essential, and you have so many methods in that for detecting cancer. Is based on biopsy. Okay, biopsy. And this biopsy, I'll tell you what is biopsy. You can see the biopsy needle under the skin. They are examining the tissue. Okay, it is given, for example, lung, anywhere a tissue can be taken, and they will examine and find out whether any abnormality is there. Okay, detection is based on biopsy. I'll tell you what is biopsy. And histopathological studies of the tissue. What is this histopathological studies? It is nothing but diagnosis and studies of diseases of the tissues. Okay, diagnosis and study of the diseases of the tissue, and they examine whatever they feel like. They examine these tissues under the microscope to see any abnormalities. Okay, that is what histopathological studies of the tissue. And blood also can be, and blood and bone marrow, that also can be done. Bone marrow test for increase in the cell counts, abnormal increase in the cell counts in the case of leukemia. Leukemia is nothing but blood cancer. Okay, in biopsy, I'll tell you what they will do in biopsy. A piece of the suspected tissue is cut into thin sections and stained and examined under a microscope by a pathologist. Who's a pathologist? A scientist who studies the cause and effects of diseases. He will examine, he will find out whether any abnormality like this, they have the needle, okay, in which they will just, the stained tissues can be taken and it will be examined under the microscope by a pathologist. And other techniques are radiography and CT. This is what the computer tomography, CT scanning, and MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, very useful to detect cancer of the internal organs. I'll find out which part, which area, whether it is a very small portion or a bigger one, everything. These are the CT and MRI scanning. And CT uses sometimes X-rays to generate three-dimensional image of the internal organ so that they can view it very clearly. And in MRI, that is magnetic resonance imaging, they use strong magnetic fields and non-ionizing radiation to detect pathological and physiological changes that occurs in the living tissue, so that they'll find out whether it's cancerous or sometimes it cannot be, or normal, it will not be cancerous. To find out, they suspect, they'll find out. Then this is one more method for detection, antibodies against cancer specific antigens. So you know very well our antibodies are specific for a particular antigen. So antibodies against cancer specific antigens are used for detection of certain cancers. Okay, then techniques of molecular biology also can be applied to detect gene in individuals which are inherited to certain cancers. So identification of such genes may be very helpful in such patients in preventing that particular cancer. And such individuals may be advised to avoid exposure to a particular carcinogenic and which they are likely to be harmed. So that will be very helpful. Then the next one will see about the treatment of cancer. Treatment of cancer, you have three types of the surgery and radiotherapy and immunotherapy. All these surgery is nothing but whichever they feel it's a malignant tissue, by surgery they will remove the tissue. Okay, radiotherapy is the tumor cells are irradiated lethally. They will lethally means they will die. The tumor cells will be irradiated so that they will be destroyed. They will die. Okay, and they have to be very careful during this therapy, because they have to take care of the normal tissues. They cannot destroy the normal tissues. So this is also very effective. And chemotherapeutic drugs. This is nothing but chemotherapy. You can see the drugs. See, in chemotherapy, a single drug can be used to kill the tumor cells, or a combination of drugs also can be used. Chemotherapeutic drugs are used to kill cancerous cells, and these are the drugs, and you can see how chemotherapy, this is what the chemicals will be like intravenous. It will be just given to the patient to kill the cancerous cells. It will be very, very effective. It's very effective, but it has got a lot of side effects like anemia, hair loss and all. Okay, and it's specific for a particular tumor. They use a particular particular drug. Okay, and most cancers are treated by a combination of this surgery and radiotherapy and chemotherapy. And the last is alpha interferons. These are the alpha interferons. I'll tell you what is that. See, our immune cells cannot detect and destroy tumor cells. Okay, therefore patients are given substances called biological response modifiers. The patients will be given biological response modifiers, and nothing but they are substances that modify our immune response. They can either enhance suppress our immune responses. Here it is for enhancing. So these biological response modifiers or substances that modify your immune response. Here it is alpha interferons. The alpha interferons, this is what I showed. They are a biological response modifier. So they use this alpha interferons which activate the immune cell. I already said they modify your immune response. So your immune system will be activated and help to destroy the tumor cells. This is also very good in the treating tumor cells. I think you have got a thorough knowledge about the how to prevent it, detection, diagnosis, and causes. And next class we'll see about drugs, about the drugs, the ill effects of drugs. First we'll see about drugs, and after that alcohol abuse. Thank you, children. Have a good day.